A live class today using SuperDuo beads. So I want to show you what we're going to make. So what we're going to be making today is this. So it looks complicated, but it's actually not. It's actually pretty simple. So even if you are new to bead weaving, because this is going to be a bead weaving project, even if you're new to bead weaving, this is a great beginner's bead weaving project because we are going to learn how to make this one cluster and then we're going to repeat. So you're just going to repeat the same pattern over again and it creates this really cool flowery starburst design. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. I'll teach you how to do it from start to finish and how to add the clasp. And I see Vicky's joining us and Terry. And I know I missed a couple who chatted really quickly at the beginning. Hello, guys. It is good to see everyone. I know Michelle's got her SuperDuo. She is in the background helping us and she got a little sneak peek of this and she was like, I got to go get my SuperDuos. So we're going to have fun making this today. And we are live. Hello. It is Thursday, the 1st of May. So thank you guys for joining me in this class. It's always fun to come to you every Thursday. See, Piper's here and Renee and Linda. Hello, guys. And Lily, hello. And Alice, good morning, everybody. We're going to have a lot of fun today. If you are joining us for the first time, just a quick overview of how this works. We are live here at Beadaholique.com. If you're on Beadaholique, you can comment and I can read your comments like, Nicole, hello, I am live. I know, guys, I've been out for a couple weeks, but I'm back and I'm live and I'm here and I can see everybody's comments. Oh, Leslie and Georgette have no sound. Okay, I think there is an issue with the sound button being covered and I know Michelle's going to be able to help that. Help with that. So I know those people who don't have sound cannot hear me explaining how to fix it. So I know if anyone knows how to fix it in the comments, our community has been great about that. I know Michelle will help with that as well. Oh, thank you, Piper. I'm glad I'm back too. I missed you guys. Okay, and Lorraine can't hear, so okay. Michelle, I'm gonna let you type in the comments because I don't have the ability to type right here to help sort that out. Okay. If you're on Facebook or YouTube watching us, welcome. I can't read your comments live, but there is a link to this live video in the description of what you're watching. If you click on it, it'll take you over to Beadaholique, and then when you type in the comments, I can go ahead and answer them live here. And Lily says, I can hear you. Thank you. Okay, great. Okay, and Leda got her sound back. Okay, we'll definitely keep helping with the sound issue. As we go. Now, a couple other quick things is if you like what you see, there's a little heart button. You can click it and it gives me little floating hearts. There's a little arrow button, which is a share. And then there's the shopping bag, which is your resource to see everything I'm going to use in the class all at once in one place. So you can learn more about it. You can see the price. You can add it right to your shopping cart from there. Lots of good stuff can happen in that shopping bag. Oh, hi, Susan from Seattle. I'm going to be in Seattle in a couple weeks for a wedding. Very excited. Okay, and Leslie can hear us now. Okay, guys, I think we're ready to start creating. Hopefully some of the sound issues have gotten sorted out, and they will get sorted out shortly. Hello from Chicago. Hi. Okay, guys, let's see what we're going to be playing with today. See all of our beads. Hello, backyard. Okay, so let's look at this a little bit closer. And I am going to look at this up close. Okay, so here is our bracelet that we're going to be making today. So here it uses, and I tried to make this pretty simple even for people who haven't worked with bead weaving before or SuperDuos. I wanted to go ahead and create a project that was not only pretty easy to do, but pretty easy to pick out your supplies for as well. So this consists of basically 2 colors of SuperDuos, an 8/0 seed bead, and an 11/0 seed bead. So only 4 different beads actually go into this pattern. And then you just need your stringing material and your clasp, which we're going to talk about together here. So here is the 1 color variation that we've already done. And then what I wanted to do, because it was going to be too long in this class to do the full bracelet, because I'm going to show you how to do the technique, but I wanted to be able to finish it too. So I did another color variation, and I am in love with this color variation. This is so pretty when it's worked up. I wasn't sure. This was one of those color combos that you get the beads and you're like, is this going to look good? I think it looks good in theory, but I wasn't sure until I started working with them. And now I am absolutely in love with this pink color combo with the pink and the teal together. And I see Michelle is there trying to help people with the sound. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. And oh, good guys. I'm glad you like it. I'm seeing all the comments. Okay. Yay. Okay. So let's talk about, for those who are not familiar with SuperDuos, let's talk about what the heck a SuperDuo is. So here is a tube of SuperDuos. These are check glass and they are 2-hole. So if we're going to open this up, I'm going to put one on my needle here because it might be a little easier. Okay, so you can see here it has 2 holes. Now, what I absolutely love about SuperDuos in terms of a 2-hole bead is they look good from either side. So some 2-hole beads have like a flat side and a curved side, or you have to make sure you put them on the right way, otherwise your pattern doesn't look good. SuperDuos look good from each and every direction, meaning it doesn't matter which way you pick this up. So when you put it onto your needle and you're doing your pattern, you don't have to think about whether they're the right or wrong way, which I love. SuperDuos also play really nicely together, meaning they lock together really nicely. So I love that about them. So that is what a SuperDuo looks like. And I still am seeing some no sound, so I know that Michelle is going to try to help with the sound here. Okay. So they come in hundreds and hundreds of colors. I did see a question about what color is the pink one that I used. This is the pink one that I used, and this one is called Pearl Shine Mauve, and I know it's there in the shopping bag. So let me show you guys real quick the color combos we're going to be using here in this class. And Amy D has a really good tip about make sure to check both holes. Excellent tip. So sometimes when you buy a tube of seed bead of SuperDuos, occasionally you'll get kind of that off one that has a hole filled in just because of how it was finished. And so you always do want to check and make sure that you've got both holes clear. I usually get like 1 or 2 in every tube that has a problem with a hole. So you definitely want to check that. That is a great tip. And I'm trying to, can you quickly explain choice of thread? Oh, sure. Absolutely. Okay. So here we go. Let me show you what I'm going to be using for this. I'm going to be using Wildfire 0.006. So I like Wildfire for this because, Michelle pinned a comment, but it's actually covering my ability to read everybody's comments. Michelle, would you mind unpinning that because it's covering up the comments for me as well? Okay, so Wildfire is nice because 1, it doesn't stretch out. So when you're doing a bead weaving project, you don't want to have a thread that's going to have any stretch to it because over time, your weaving is going to come loose because you want it to be really nice and tight. Oh, good morning, Rhett, to you as well. Nymo is very thin and tangles kind of on the easier side. I also find you can pierce Nymo and you get little strands, which can be frustrating when you're doing bead weaving. This is a really nice bonded thread. It's thermally bonded, so you can't really pierce it. So that's why I choose Wildfire or Fireline for my bead weaving projects, and I keep Nymo for like bead embroidery or loom work. So those are the differences. Okay. See, Francie is saying, I know what my next project will be. This is gorgeous. Oh, thank you. I love this. And guys, if you want, you can make a necklace. Just keep going. How pretty would that be as a necklace? Okay. So how many strands is it? Good question. You know what? This actually doesn't show how many strands. This shows actually how thick it is. This is going to be a 0.006. So I like to use that size because it's got a little bit more heft to it, and that heft will give you a little bit more structure to your design. So that's why I also choose it over Nymo, because it's really something that gives a little bit more body to it, especially that 0.006. Okay, so the two color combos that you see here, let me show you the exact beads that I used. Okay, for this one here, I used this really pretty teal bead. I hope I'm going to have the right name for it. This is a Pearl Coat Dark Teal. It is in that shopping bag. I know Michelle is putting up the banner. I combined it with this really, oh, I put some seed beads in there. I was cleaning up my table. This is a metallic suede blue. So those two were my two SuperDuos. So to make this project, when you're picking out beads, you'll need 2 colors of SuperDuos. You'll need an 8/0 Toho round. This one I think is a perma-finish galvanized pale lilac. And then you'll need an 11/0 Toho round as well. And this is a reglass green. So this is the color combo for the blue teal bracelet. And again, there's hundreds and hundreds of beads to choose from. You can do whatever color combos you like. Just remember, you'll need 2 colors of SuperDuos, an 8/0 Toho round, and an 11/0 Toho round. Okay, so that's the one color combo. The second color combo that I did are these beads right here. So I did the pink here, which is a Pearl Shine Mauve, and I combined it with this really cool, it's called Aquamarine Artemis, and Michelle's putting up the banner. So this one's got a couple colors happening in it. If you can see, it's kind of coated. It's really pretty. Now, I didn't pay any attention when I was stringing it to where the little half coat is. I just thought it'd be really pretty to kind of have it random. And I thought that was such a pretty, pretty color. And I see so many familiar names. Hello, everyone. I can't get to everybody as I'm doing this, but hello, Miss J. And I saw Rhett was on there. Good morning, everybody. Okay. And then, so those were my 2 colors of SuperDuos. Then I paired it with this really bright pink. And this one was a silver lined mauve. This was my 11/0. And then for my 8/0, I did this bronzy color. So this was a bronze. And those were the colors I used for the other color variation. And then this is how it looked worked up. So you see how that looks. And you see that bright pink doesn't look so bright now. It just gives you that nice pop of pink in the center. And I did the bronzes on the outside. How many tubes? Nope, you don't need more than 1. So you'll just need, great question though. You'll just need 1 tube of each. So, and look how many I have left over. I got a lot left over. So I did all the weaving for this one here with these tubes, and this is how much I have left over. So I can almost make 2 bracelets out of this. Were those new tubes when you started, or have you used them for other projects? Okay, these were brand new. Good questions, you guys. Awesome. Okay, these were brand new tubes when I started. So this is how much is left. Okay, so we can kind of get an idea here. It doesn't take that many. Okay, so and these were brand new tubes. I just really used a few seed beads of each. For this one here, I have used these tubes for other projects. I did a Kumihimo bracelet with this one, if you guys remember, from a couple weeks ago. And then I actually am wearing them today. I did these earrings, and I think another project too, using the same tubes of the SuperDuo. So, these ones are less in them just because, but I still have some left over just because I've already used them. And if you want to see how to make this earring, all of our classes are saved. You can always go back and rewatch the replay of this. And Michelle is also giving us a good reminder that the SuperDuos are 20% off. There's a code, and she just put the code in there as well because all check beads are on sale and the SuperDuos are check. So that's a really good reminder. Thank you, Michelle. I saw another question. How long are the bracelets? Okay. So this one here is actually a little bit big for me. I made this one a little too big. This is a 6-inch ruler. So that's 6. And so this is about 7.5 because your clasp is going to add a bit of length to this. So this is a 7.5-inch one. And then I made the other one a little bit shorter because that was a little big for me. So I've done about 6 inches of beading on this one. I'll add the clasp and it'll be like between 6.5 and 7 inches. And for me, that's going to be better. Okay. Great. Yeah, good question, Liz, about how many projects can get out of a single tube. You can probably, I mean, depending on how big of a bracelet you're going to make, you might be able to get 2 complete bracelets out of a single tube of each, just depending on how long you're going to make it. Really, really great questions, guys. And keep asking them. I'll try to keep answering them as I go here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to be using wildfire. And I'm trying to determine if I should use white or black wildfire for the demo. For making the actual project itself, I used white because it just kind of hides. It just kind of goes away and you don't see it anymore. The clasps, depending on which clasp you use, are they an inch long? Let's see, the clasp added, because there's also a little detailing of how we attach the clasp. Piper's saying this would be a great weekend project. It really would be. I think that'd be great. Okay, so let's see. So for the actual clusters on this one, it was, I'd say it's about 6.5 inches of clusters. And so the clasp did add about an inch. So for this particular clasp, it added about an inch. And then there's smaller clasps because I wanted to show you guys some other options where you could do a little bit smaller clasp. You can do a magnetic clasp, and these are all in that shopping bag too. So if you'd like to have a little bit of a different look for this bracelet here, we're going to finish it with this clasp. Is it best to try on as you go? Yes, I think that's best because I was doing that here. I didn't do that with this one here, but I was starting to do that with this one because I was realizing that the other one was a little too big for me. Okay, so I pre-cut 70 inches of wildfire for this, 70 inches. Now, look how much is left. This was my smaller 6-inch bracelet for me. I have a ton left, and all I have to do is attach the clasp. So 70 inches was a little bit long if you were going to only do 6 inches of weaving. But if you're going to do a longer bracelet, I think 70 inches is going to be more than enough. So you can just cut it down a little bit. If I knew I was going to make it this big, I would probably have cut, at least 10, 12 inches off of that. I probably would have started with about 60 inches to do this. An anklet for a larger one would be pretty. Ooh, that would be. Or a necklace. I think a necklace would be so pretty on this. I would love to do this all the way around. A necklace that just sits up high on your neck. I think that would be so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to do black, you guys, because I think it's just going to be so much easier to see the black wildfire on this. Okay, so this is the same weight right here. It's the 0.006. And I'm not going to cut 70 inches here because I'm just going to show you how to do the weaving here because I've already pre-made this one on how to attach the clasp. So I'm going to cut just a nice length here. Here we go. Okay, so I'm using a size 10 needle. This is a tulip long needle. You can do a long, you can do a short, you can do a 10, you can do an 11 size needle. Whatever you're comfortable with. Oh, I already have one out. I would hesitate to go much bigger than a 10 because you're going to be doing multiple passes through your beads. Okay, so I'm going to start by just spreading some of these out on my table. Can use 2 or 3 millimeter beads instead of the 8.0. I would just test it. That's a good question. Part of this bracelet, like the design process, was seeing what fit together nicely so that everything kind of worked. So I think you could definitely attempt a 2 millimeter or 3 millimeter bead and just see if it's still what I say. Like I always say, does it play nicely? Does it all kind of work together and work? Just test it. I think you probably could. You'll just have to do a little experimenting. Okay. So we got all of our little beads out here on our table, just the 4 beads that you need, the 2 SuperDuos, the 8/0, and the 11/0. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we'll put our needle on. So a little tip for wildfire is, oh, I have a little broken nail there. Okay, a little tip for wildfire is you can take your fingernail and you can kind of like squish the tip of the wildfire a little bit and it flattens it, which makes it sometimes easier to go onto a needle. And this is always what I find the hardest part of the lives is threading my needle live. Okay, there, I got it. Ooh, Santa Barbara girl wants to make this with green for leaves and purples for wisteria. That would be beautiful. Okay, and oh, yes. So I'm just reading Hawk's comment. This is my first live. Is there a way to go back to get a complete list and watch again? So you can look at everything in the shopping cart. For that, you're not going to leave the show. You'll be able to still see me and hear me talk. This is also archived, so you can always go back and rewatch if you do miss anything, but it should be all in the shopping bag. I also already made a project page for this one because it's complete, which has the complete list of ingredients. I know Michelle has that link. As well. So you can find the entire supply list for this one. And I added it all to the cart even before the sale. It was only $20, like $20.04 for all the supplies, including the clasp and the wildfire. And then the SuperDuos are on sale, so it gets down actually even below that. So I love it when a project is under $20. Okay, so we have our thread on here. I do not have a bead stopper on. I don't have anything happening here. So what I'm gonna pick up is I'm gonna do my center first for my first cluster. Only my first cluster is gonna do the center first. So again, check your SuperDuos. Make sure that their holes are all there and clean. Only for the one that's on your center do you have to worry about that. So just double check that all the holes are viable. So we're going to pick up 1 SuperDuo onto our needle, 1 of our 11/0 beads. In my case here, it's a green one. Then we're going to pick up another SuperDuo, and we're going to pick up a purple bead, an 8/0. So we're just putting these on here. And then I'll show you, I'm going to get these all on my needle and then I'll show you what I got. Okay. Okay. So this is what we have. We have a SuperDuo for our inside color. Then we have an 11/0, a SuperDuo, an 8/0, a SuperDuo, an 11/0, a SuperDuo, and an 8/0. And again, because the SuperDuos look beautiful from all sides, I didn't have to worry about which direction I picked these up. Can you use mini duos with 11s and 15s? Ooh, I don't know. You can definitely try it. I think it would be really cool looking. I was looking at those mini duos earlier. Mini duos are small versions of SuperDuos. Definitely try it. Again, it's that whole thing where you have to test it out to see if they kind of lock in correctly. Okay, so now we're gonna pull this down. And what we want is we want about 12 inches for our tail here. So you wanna make sure that you're gonna leave about a 12-inch tail because at the end, you're gonna go back and attach your clasp. So here you've got these on here, and now we're just going to make a loop and tie a knot. And what that does is it brings everything together. So you have a cute little cluster right here. Okay. Oh, and I see Cheyenne's question about the magnetic clasps. I think Michelle probably has a link. There is a really cute little magnetic clasp. It's very tiny, and it's not quite as strong as the super strong magnetic clasps. I forget what's called, but it's very petite, Michelle. If you find it, it comes in silver and gold and like gunmetal. It comes in a couple different colors. Okay, now we're going to do another loop through. Make a little loop. And we're just going to pull that down as well. Okay, so this is our center. So now we've got this knotted and we have this cute little cluster. Okay, so we're just going to leave this long tail be until the end. Okay, so now we're going to go through. Okay, we're going to go through our 8-0 and our SuperDuo and pull your thread through. Okay, now what we're going to do is we need to get to the outside. So I always call this jumping up and creating a thread bridge. So I'm just going to literally, I'm coming out the bottom hole of this SuperDuo. I'm just going to go up through the top hole of that same SuperDuo. And what that does is it creates a little discreet thread bridge along the side. If you can kind of just see that, it really blends in nicely. But now we suddenly are up to the next row, which is very helpful. Okay, so on this one, and I'm going to refer to my pattern because I had to keep referring back to my pattern. Okay, so on this one, now what we want to do, you guys, I totally messed up. Oh, okay, guys, we're restarting. Haha. Okay, where's my scissors? Sorry, guys. Ignore that last 3 minutes. All right, I knew this looked weird. Okay, ignore that, please. Live class. Okay, sorry, guys. We want 2 SuperDuos, 1 11-0, 2 SuperDuos, 1 11-0. All right, guys. Sorry, ignore that. Thank you, Lennon. Oh, well, that was a pretty little cluster. We can make something else with that. Okay. I was like looking at it thinking, this doesn't look right. Okay, this is what we need as our initial start. 2 SuperDuos, 11-0, 2 SuperDuos, an 11-0. Pull that down. You get to re-see me do the same thing here. I'm going to leave a little shorter tail because I just cut some of mine, but you're going to leave that 12-inch tail. Okay, pull it together. That looks better. Okay, this is what you've got. Okay. And go ahead and knot it again. Okay. All right, now we're back on track. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now you can go through another bead and go through your SuperDuo. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go back through. This is our starting cluster. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, now we've done the same thing. So you kind of got to see that beginning step again. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go make that thread bridge again. So we're coming out the SuperDuo, and now we just need to go jump up to the top hole, make a little discreet thread bridge, and now we're on track. Okay, good. Okay. So for this next one, what you want to pick up is 1 of your 8-0s, 2 of your outside color. So for me, it's this suede blue, and another 1 of your 8-0s. And now you're just going to go over to the next SuperDuo right here and go down its top hole right there. Oh, it does look like a butterfly. I love it. Okay. Okay. I was trying to name this and I was like flower, starburst, had these different ideas. Okay, so there we go. Now you're just going to pick up 1 of your 8-0s and just go over to the next SuperDuo on that outside. And this is why when we were talking about, can you use different size beads? You'll just have to experiment to see if they will fit into these different areas, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same pattern that we did over here on this side. Butterfly fields, I love it. Okay, so now we've got an 8-0, 2 SuperDuos, and an 8-0, and we just jump over to the next hole. And it really is just, think of it as like jumping from one to the next. And we've almost got our first cluster done. So to complete our first cluster, we just need to add one more 8-0. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to reinforce it, and I'm going to go and work my thread all the way over to this little bead by going along the outside. So I'm just tracing my thread path. So I'm going to go through not only my SuperDuo, but the bead next to it. Okay. And then I'm going to work my way until I get to that other side bead. And hopefully this black thread is showing up a little bit better than the white would have. Okay, we're just going to keep going. See, go ahead and keep pushing your needle through until you work to the other side. And for those who are just joining us, these are all recorded, so you can always go back and rewatch if you missed the beginning of it. And a reminder that all of the beads are in that shopping bag, and Michelle is putting up banners as she can if you want to see the colors I'm working with. And we are having that check glass sale, which is the SuperDuos, so that's perfect. Okay, so that is your starting cluster. It is the only cluster you're going to do that way. So that is the one and only cluster that you start from the middle and then work your way to the outside. For each and every cluster going forward, you're going to work from the outside in, because we're already on the outside. So we have to now work from the outside and go in. So now we're going to pick up our outside beads. So we're going to pick up, it is an inside bead technically, but it's the outer hole of the inside bead that we're going to be doing. But again, because it's a SuperDuo, it doesn't matter which hole you go up through. Then we're going to, so you pick up one SuperDuo, and then you're going to pick up an 8-0, two of your outside colors, an 8-0, another SuperDuo, and another 8-0. And definitely, guys, this is all recorded. You can rewatch this and go step by step once your beads arrive. Okay? And I'm going to do a couple clusters to show you the pattern. Okay, so this is what we've got so far, but we're not done because we have to do the entire outside surround. So now we're going to pick up another one of our inside colors, an 8-0, two more of our outside colors, so the blue, an 8-0, and one more of our inside colors. Okay? And that is our complete surround for our outside. Okay? And it might sound complicated, but you're going to get the hang of it, and it's going to be really easy because it's on repeat. So once you do it once or twice, you're going to just have it down. Okay, so now we need to loop back around so we see what direction our thread is coming out of that 8-0 along the side. And then we're going to, here, I can just show you right here. We're going to go down through it the other direction, so it makes a loop. Oh, thank you, Rhett. And if you have any questions, let me know. I know it's sometimes hard with all these different beads. So we made a loop just like that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to work our thread same direction all the way over to this one right here. So we're just going to reinforce our beadwork basically. And I do like doing this whole thing where you kind of trace your thread path a little bit. I think it makes your bracelet really structurally sound. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to pull that through and give it a good little tug because you want it pretty nice and tight. Okay? And then we're going to need to jump up to the outer, or I guess it is the outer hole of this one. This is one of our inside color beads. So give it a little tug. You're just going to create that little thread bridge and go through that bead. And now what we're going to do is pick up one 11-0, that smaller seed bead, and you're going to you're going to skip all of these outer beads. You're going to go right over to the next inside color bead, if you can see that. And I'll do this cluster again because we'll do it twice so you can see, and then we're going to talk about how to add the clasp. So you see how that pulls it inward? And then you're just going to go through the outside hole of this other one, the other inside color. Okay, and then you're going to pick up one more of your little 11-Os and then fold that guy in so he plays nice. Okay, go through him. Him, her, I don't know. I'm just calling it him. Okay, so there you go. And now what we need to do is to make our round complete, we have to go through that starting SuperDuo again. Can you bring your beads down? Sure, of course. Good. Okay. Yes. Oh, right. You have to leave. Definitely watch the replay. Okay. There we go. How does that look? And I'll do another one with them a little lower. That was a good comment. Thank you, Jill. Okay. So now we have 2 clusters. So all of our other clusters are going to be the exact same way. But what we need to do is we need to get back to this outer bead. This is always your starting point, this bead right here. Are you using 2 different color SuperDuos or just one SuperDuo color? I'm using 2 different colors. So I'm using kind of like this teal color on the inside, and I'm using the blue color on the outside. For me, you could use the same color for sure. You could use the same color if you like. I thought it looked nice to have the contrast, but you can definitely use 2. Okay, so now we need to get to this outside bead because that is always our starting point. So we're just going to, right now, this is where we're at. We're on that inside hole. So now we just are going to jump up, get to the outside hole of that same SuperDuo. And we're also going to go through that little 8-0 on the side. I'm going to do another cluster with you guys. It's the same exact pattern, but I think it's worth showing twice, just so that we know kind of what we're doing. Now look, this time the thread is coming out the top. Remember last time the thread came out the bottom. Doesn't matter. It doesn't change what you do at all. So that's like a quick note as you're doing this. Don't worry which way the thread is coming out of that bead. It'll be the same pattern either way because it's a mirrored image. The top here is the same as the bottom here. Okay, so now we're just going to pick up an inside color, an 8-0, 2 of your outside color, an 8-0, another inside color. So let those slide on down. And then we're going to pick up an 8-0, an inside color, an 8-0, 2 outside colors, an 8-0, and an inside color. Oh, you're very welcome, Diane. I love this pattern. You know, certain ones you just get so excited about. This, for some reason, this pattern is just so fun to make. I like how it looks, but it's also really fun to make because it's like you're on this journey of these loops. Okay, so now we're just going to do the same thing. Oops, I have no, I don't have an extra bead. Good. Whew, for a second there, I thought I had an extra bead. Okay, here we go. And we're just going to make that loop. Here it is. It all comes together. Now again, what we want to do is to reinforce it. We're going to work our way to this bead right here. So we're just going to follow our path. And we're going to keep working our needle until we end up on that little outer bead. Okay, so here we go. Oh, thank you, Par. Okay, so, and then we can kind of get a little bit better idea. See how this is all going to work? These all just kind of collapse in, and then these ones stick out. Okay, so now we need to jump up to the top. So we just go ahead. We're exiting the bottom hole. We just jump up to the top hole. Give it a good little tug. Now we're going to add one of our 11-Os right here. And then we're going to fold this one kind of inward. Okay, so that's kind of nice and is starting to line up. Can I please do one more? Sure, I can definitely do one more. Oh, you guys are very welcome. Okay, so now we're going to go through this outer hole too. Oh, thank you, Piper. Okay, and so here we're almost done with this cluster. So we need one more of the 11 O's. We'll go through this bead here. Okay, and now we have to complete our round. So remember, when you get this to this point, you have to make sure you go through the one that you started with one more time through that bottom hole, because that makes a nice tight circle. And then you have your cluster. So there is your third cluster. Okay, we're gonna do one more. So again, to get to the outside. So right now you're on the inside, if you can see that. And the replay of this video is very important. I'm so glad that we keep the replays. Okay, so to get to the outside again, you just jump up to the hole, the outer hole of that same SuperDuo. Okay, so we're gonna do that hole right there. Okay, but what we need to be doing is we need to be exiting this bead here, this 8O, which is our side 8O. So we just go through it. And there we have the 3 clusters. Okay, and would Fireline work? Yes, Fireline would work as well. And Cara, I agree, it comes together. It's pretty cool how it comes together, right? Okay, guys, let's do one more and then I'll show you how to add the clasp. Okay, so I need a few more beads out. Where are my beads? Okay, again, because it's that inside color, I'm just gonna make sure that all the beads that I'm gonna be using have the clean holes. And it's not very often you get one that doesn't, but you just don't wanna do your weaving and then end up with a kind of gummed up hole. Okay, all right, so we'll need the inside color one, an 8O, 2 outside colors, an 8O, inside color, an 8O, 2 outside colors, an 8O, and an inside color. So this is your entire sequence all on one needle right here. So we're just gonna slide that on down. So you see that? Now we're exiting going this way. So you wanna just make sure that your needle comes back the opposite direction that you're exiting. So you make a nice loop. Okay. Then we're gonna work, oops, I forgot a bead. Okay, I was going too quick. So if you forget a bead, just pull it on out. I was going way too fast. Okay, here we go. Okay, so just pull it out. Put your needle back on. No big deal. So what I love about creating jewelry is if you make a mistake, most times you can just pretty quickly undo it and you know, doesn't take too much time. Okay, I'm gonna pay a little more attention this time. Okay, do. Okay, and then I'll show you what I got. Okay, and I'm gonna double check this. Okay, so I've got an inside color, an 8O, 2 outside colors, an 8O, an inside color, an 8O, an inside color, an 8O, 2 outside colors, an 8O, and an inside color. So I've got 4 and 4. Perfect. Okay, slide those guys down, loop back around through that bead you exited, make a little loop. Okay, now we're gonna work our way over to that other SuperDuo on the other side. And then we're gonna give it a little tug so it's nice and tight. And then you're gonna jump up to that outer hole and you're gonna pick up one of your 8Os and then you're going to go through that outside hole of one of your inside color SuperDuos. And that pulls it together. And then you're going to go through your next SuperDuo. And then you're going to do 1/8. 1/8, not 2. 1/8. I mean 1/11. Oops, sorry guys. Okay, and then go through this one and pull it all together. And then make sure you go through that other SuperDuo that you started with to make your full loop. There we go. Now we've got 4 clusters. And then to get to the outside again, you are exiting that SuperDuo right there. You just need to jump up to its other hole and go through it. And go through the 8/0. Just to make sure you're always exiting that 8/0. So there are 4 clusters of our little bracelet. Okay, so now, I'm glad, I love it, Santa Barbara girl. Okay, so there's our bracelet. You know, you would keep going until you have all of your clusters. But I did my little, I call it my cooking show magic, but I did it in a color variation. So here is a finished bead weaving segment of this pattern, but done in the other color variation. And I have my 12-inch tail on one side still there. And then I've got the rest of my beading thread here, which ended up being just too much. I'm going to cut some of this off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we need to add a clasp. Now I'm using a toggle. You can use a magnetic. You can do whatever you like. And so I'm going to use this pretty little antique brass clasp because I thought it matched really nicely. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our needle back on to our thread. And remember, you can do this in any color scheme that you like. There are, I think there's like 400 colors of SuperDuos. And I did pull a couple of my favorites here to show you at the end because I always think it's fun to see them in person. But you can do this in any color combo. I love the idea of the leaves and the wisteria. So many things you can do. Okay, so here is where you would end, right? Because you've done all your bead weaving. We talked about always ending, leaving your middle 8/0 bead. Okay, so, but to do a clasp, what we want to do is we actually want to be exiting one of our side 8/0 beads instead. So what we have to do is we just have to get our needle and our thread over to the side. There are a couple different ways you can do that. You can do that by going through just your SuperDuo, going back down here, creating a little discrete thread bridge, going through here, going through a couple of them and just working your way. Or you can go all the way around until you just exit here. I'm going to do that one. That one just seems like it makes more sense to me. So I'm just going to take my needle. And I'm just going to work my way around the outside. Okay. And this just reinforces your design too. So there's never any harm in doing this. The only snag you might get is if you do too many passes through, it can get a little tight in there with your thread. So that's the only caveat is, you know, it could get a little tight, but I was still able to do this with this project just fine. I fell in love with these colors. I really did. Okay, so here, one more little pass here. And now my needle is exiting one of those side 8/0 beads instead of the middle one. So that's what you need to add your clasp. Now I'm using a little bit of a smaller clasp than the other one. So I'm gonna have to just double check that this is gonna be the same formula. Okay, so now we're gonna pick up, I need my other beads. We're gonna be using for our clasp attachment, the 2 sizes of seed beads. Okay, so we got that cool bright pink, and then we've got this one here. If I can get it open. Okay. Okay. So we're going to pick up 3 of our 11/0s. 1, 2, 3. 1 of our 8/0s and 1 11/0. Okay. Let that slide on down. Pick up your clasp, either part of your clasp. This is going to be the same technique either way. So we're just going to go through the hole in our clasp. We're going to pick up one more of our 11-0s. And now we're going to go back down through our 8-0, only our 8-0. Okay, so this is how this is getting attached right here. You can see that. And so now what we want to do is we want to pick up 3 more 11-0s. Okay, and what we're going to do is now we're going to go down through the other side 8-0 on our bracelet right here. So I'm going to kind of pause that for just a second so you can see that. We exited one of our side 8-0s, we added our bead combo, and then we're going to go down through the other one. Oh, Sandy finally has sound. You guys, we're going to keep working on the sound issue. I think it's a hidden button or something, and we definitely want to make sure that that gets fixed. So we're going to prioritize that. Sorry about the sound issues. Okay, so there we go. So that is your clasp attachment. Now I'm just looking at this clasp. It's a little bit different than the other clasp I attached. You could put 2 beads here if you wanted to, or you could leave it like that. All right. So now to tie it off, you're just going to work your beads in. Now, what you can do, and I did on the other sample bracelet, I'm going to, I actually worked my way around again, went back through these, up through, and looped through it again, so it had a double strand in there. So I think for time reasons, I'm not going to do that here in this video, but that's what I would do, is I would work my thread around again, go up through, loop through your clasp hole, go back down, just follow your thread path, so just so it's a little bit more secure. I always like to do like a double on my bead weaving clasp attachments. But that's how you would do it for both sides. And then what you would do is you just work your thread and needle in. After you've done that, find a discreet little spot and poke it through. Come on, don't tangle. Okay, make a little loop. Go through the little loop and tie a little knot. And then my needle and thread just came off. All right, and then I always do 2 knots in the same spot to begin with. And then I weave it in a little bit more and do another knot. So, can you use a wire guard? Yes, you can use a wire guard. Now, I haven't done wire guards with bead weaving myself. I have seen it done. I just always worry about any metal cutting this wire. I know that there's like an edge on the very end of the wire guard, and I would just worry if over time it would kind of rub like this. I would say give it a test, give it an experiment, or if anyone has used them, maybe they can share their experience. But that is how we attach our little clasp. So then you would just go ahead, follow your thread path again, weave it in, and then tie another knot here and there. And then when you're all done, you just go in with your scissors and you would trim. And then you would have your bracelet. You'll do that to the other side as well. Okay, really, really quickly, before I know this was a long class, guys, before I sign off, I want to show you a couple other colors in person, just because it's so nice to be able to see on a live show colors. But here was the blue teal one we did with this really pretty tiara cast clasp. Renee is saying, I use wire guards all the time with bead weaving. Oh, perfect. She prefers it that way. I love it. Okay. So here's what this one looks like. And then of course this one, and then this was with the antique brass. And then a couple other colors I pulled out that I thought were so pretty is this one here. This is like a green with a bronze on it. And this one, I know Michelle could put up the banner. This is Apollo Olivine. I thought that would be quite stunning in one of these designs. That would work up really nice. I also have this one here, which is a halo cherub. This is like a pretty pink. So if you wanted to do like a pink and green, that would be really pretty. I pulled some other little beads, and these are all there in that shopping bag, just so you can kind of see them. This would be a pretty inside color too. This is just a gold lined crystal. So, and then I have like a dark, this is like a mocha, I think. Yeah, this is a matte mocha. So lots of different colors you can play with here. I also pulled out this really striking, like dark silver line teal, which could be a really pretty color for one of these. Like you look at how vibrant that is. That's in that shopping bag too. So lots of things. If you're a silver fan, there's a pretty silver toho if you want that to match your silver clasp. So you could do that as well. So lots and lots and lots of combos. There's a pretty purple SuperDuo, a purple, silver line purple. So lots of fun. Okay, I'm going to pop the camera back up really quick and then be able to say goodbye. But this was a really fun class. I love the SuperDuos. Okay, let me pop the camera up. Oh, thank you guys. Okay. Yay! Okay, we did it. Okay, so again, here is this one. And guys, like I've got a higher neck here, but how pretty would that be? Like just a high up necklace. I think that would be so pretty. That's going to be my next project with these, is I'm going to bead more. And I feel like I can almost make a necklace with the beads in just one tube, or do like a little different attachment method to make it last. So I used 11 O's. So just a quick recap. I used 2 of the SuperDuo colors, an 8O and an 11O. So the 8Os were the bigger outside ones, and the 11Os were the inside ones. Oh, thank you, Francie and Jill. Thank you, guys. And then here was this other, oh, and Michelle is saying, finish it with chain to make it a necklace. Oh, totally. So you could just get the 2 tubes of SuperDuos, bead as much as you can with them, and then just use some chain to finish it. So, but oh, those colors, that teal is now my new favorite, that bronzy teal SuperDuo, because it just pops. And I think that green olivine one would pop too. Okay, that was fun, guys. Thank you for joining me on this live class. Don't forget, if you have any of these in your shopping bag, make sure you check out and take advantage of that sale too, to get your SuperDuos on sale. Great timing for that one. If you want to keep playing with SuperDuos and you want to make a pair of earrings, we have this class and it's archived. So you can go ahead and rewatch that. You can rewatch this class. They're all saved. So I'll be here. I'm not going to be able to get that back on. I will see you guys next week at Beadaholique here. We're going to be playing with filigree. We're getting some new filigree in, and I love filigree. So that will be next week. We'll do some fun stuff with that. And thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Have fun with SuperDuos. They're awesome. And have fun with this pattern. Bye, guys. Take care.